To know more about the latest updates on the 2025 South Korean presidential election, we are now connected with our South Korea contributor, Siyoung Kim. Hi, Sean. Good to see you. What updates do you have for us?
Sure. So I'm standing outside South Korea's National Parliament, National Assembly, where the presidential inauguration will happen once we know who has won the presidential race. Now, as you said, the snap president election happening today, the actual voting, official voting happening today, stems from the President Yoon being impeached just last month in April after his failed imposition of martial law on December 3rd last year. So as of 6 p.m. today, 76.1% of South Koreans have voted of the eligible voters. And in South Korea, there are about 44.4 million total voters, which means up till now, we've had about 34 or more million people having voted in this election. Now we've had, now this figure is actually about 1% point down for 6 p.m. since compared to the last election in 2022. And we've seen an increase in police security around the polling stations, as well as major places such as government buildings and the National Parliament I'm standing behind. Now, a total of 5 candidates are vying for the nation's top political office, with Lee Jun-suk of the New Reform Party well in the race as well. Now, the 2 main top candidates who are likely to be voted presidents are Lee Jae-myung from the Democratic Party, as well as Kim Mun-soo from the People Power Party. Now, the polls here are showing quite a tight race between the top 2 candidates, Kim Mun-soo and Lee Jae-myung, although the polls are limited to about 1,000 sample size, meaning they might not be as accurate as you'd expect. When ex-President Yoon Suk-yeol got voted in the last election, it was also a very narrow race where we could not expect who will win until the last minute. Back to you, Yanni.
Now, Sean, while national polls show Lee Jae-myung with a comfortable lead, are there any regional disparities or hidden voters that could still significantly impact the outcome?
Of course, we've had quite 2 days of early voting where there was a huge voter turnout as well, which was also slightly lower than the last election, but somewhere in the 36% range, which is very high. We've seen some polls, as I mentioned, saying that Lee Jae-myung is in the lead, although tight at around 40% for Lee Jae-myung and around something similar, but 5 or 10% lower for Kim Mun-soo. But as I mentioned, the polls do limit themselves to about 1,000 sample size, which may not represent the entirety of the Korean population. So although Lee Jae-myung seems to be in the lead on the media and in polls, which are conducted to a small sample size, we might see an unexpected event of other candidates being voted in the finals of the election.
All right, Siyoung Kim from Seoul, South Korea, thank you so much for your report. And of course, we'll be waiting for the latest updates again regarding the 2025 South Korean presidential election. Thank you so much.